We have a major Anthony Davis injury update, and it's way worse than what we thought. Last season was the season from hell where the Dallas Mavericks could not get away from injuries, and it was somewhat in part thanks to Nico Harrison. Now, no, Nico Harrison wasn't out there injuring our players, but he didn't have the right personnel in place to take care of our players when they got hurt. We had PJ Washington mention how he felt like he was coming back too soon from his ankle injuries. Derrick Lively had a foot fracture and almost played in a game until someone on our medical staff stepped in to intervene. As well as we know that Anthony Davis had an adductor strain that he almost came back to play for until we had to step in and stop him, and then Kyrie Irving with his ACL tear. The Dallas Mavericks, to this day, still can't seem to get away from injuries. But the other day, we got a bombshell report showing that behind the scenes, Nico Harrison was ready to make the same mistake that he made last year and rush Anthony Davis back, risking a bigger injury. So in this video, we're going to take a look at what's going on with Anthony Davis, revisit his injury, what's the timetable look like, and what was it that Nico Harrison was desperately trying to do. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, we're currently sitting at 22,732 subscribers. The channel continues to grow. And if you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related, from injury updates, live streams, news vids, and everything else in between, make sure you subscribe, and I'd appreciate it greatly. But the Dallas Mavericks just can't seem to shake the injury bug. It's almost like it's a part of our identity. The Dallas Mavericks, or the hospital Mavericks, as some people point out, we just can't seem to get away from injuries. We dealt with it all last season, which was before the trade and after the trade, which I guess ultimately led to us getting Cooper Flag. But even now, as the Dallas Mavericks are currently 12 games into the season, sitting with a horrible 3-9 record, we still can't seem to get away from the injuries. And last night's loss to the Phoenix Suns, we were without PJ Washington. He only played about 6 minutes until he went down with a shoulder sprain, just further proving that we just can't seem to get away from injuries. We also know that Derrick Lively is out with an injury with no real timetable. Dante Exum is still to be seen. May have to put out a missing person report for Dante. Don't know where he's been. And obviously we have Kyrie Irving, who is rehabbing his ACL as he had surgery over the summer. The Dallas Mavericks is quickly and surely losing all of their key players. But one player who just seems to constantly be hurt is Anthony Davis. And if we just want to quickly go over what's been going on, this was a tweet that came out on Halloween, which was about 13 days ago, saying that the Mavericks say Anthony Davis is out for at least 2 games with a low-grade left calf strain. Now, we were on the road. We were going to revisit this when we got home, trying to see how serious it's been. And we still don't really have an idea, or at least us as fans don't have a real idea of how serious this is. But Anthony Davis has not played since that game where he went down with that left calf strain injury. And before that game, they even said he had a bilateral Achilles tendinopathy, pretty much saying that both of his Achilles were sore and that he probably should not be playing, but he still played anyway. And we want to take a look right here. Anthony Davis will miss his 31st game as a Maverick tonight since the trade. This was last night before the Phoenix Suns game, and he's played in 14 games. Now, obviously, when you swing for the fences for a guy like Anthony Davis, you are taking somewhat of a gamble. I mean, he does have a history of being injured. And although he has been injured, he hasn't really been that bad for the Dallas Mavericks. If we take a look right here, in 29.8 minutes per game this season, Anthony Davis is putting up 20.8 points, 10.2 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 1.2 blocks, 1.6 steals, 2.2 turnovers, and 2.6 fouls per game, shooting 52% from the field and 27% from 3. Now, for some players, this would be good. If PJ was putting up these numbers, we're talking about fringe all-star, but this is Anthony Davis. This is NBA champion Anthony Davis, 11-time all-star Anthony Davis. Those are not good numbers. And if he's putting up those numbers while somewhat healthy and now he's hurt, it's only hurting the Dallas Mavericks more. And if we continue to take a look at what's going on with Anthony Davis and his personal medical staff wanted him to play last Saturday against the Wizards per Tim McMahon. Johan Bilsborough, Mavs Director of Health and Performance, and Patrick Dumont disagreed, which led to AD sitting out. And the one thing that's about this report that I want everybody to take notice is Patrick Dumont disagreed. Patrick Dumont is getting more involved, and we're seeing more and more reports that Patrick wants to be involved. He does not want to blindly just trust anybody, not just Nico Harrison or whoever may replace him, but he's not going to blindly just trust the trainers, the staff, or even AD's personal staff, who obviously are going to be a little bit more lenient when it comes to his health, where if AD wants to come back and he's feeling good, sure, they'll just blindly trust AD. But this AD that we're talking about, he got hurt in his first game with the Dallas Mavericks. He's already missed about 7 games for us this season. So no, we shouldn't just take it lightly. If you're hurt, you will have to sit out. And yes, it's first the report came out saying that he may miss 2 games, but now it's been 7 games. And we don't know when he's actually going to return, as we don't know how serious this is. But like I said in the intro, there was something going on behind the scenes that could have led to a way worse outcome than the one that we're dealing with right now. It's one thing if Anthony Davis is sitting on the sidelines trying to recover. It's one thing if he were to be out for the entirety of the season. If we take a look right here, Nico Harrison reportedly urged Anthony Davis to return early from his calf injury, despite the Mavericks medical staff warning that there was a chance he could tear his Achilles if he came back too soon, per The Athletic. Monday's loss to the Bucks marked the 6th straight game Davis has missed with a left calf strain. Multiple sources said Davis has tried to convince the Mavs to let him return to the court, and Harrison urged him to return, but the team's medical staff forbade it, citing the potential for a torn Achilles if Davis returned too soon. And I'm going to give Anthony Davis the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say that Anthony just really wants to play. He really wants to go out there and win. Anthony Davis is a champion. He's a winner in some aspects, and he wants to win with the Dallas Mavericks. We've had a very poor start to the season, but he wants to correct the ship. He wants to right the wrongs that have been done. I'll give him all the benefit of the doubt for that. Anthony Davis, you just want to play. But Nico Harrison, he's gone now, so there's not really much more we can do. But Nico Harrison could have ruined this season for us. There have been many reports, and we'll talk about it in future videos on this channel, how the Dallas Mavericks are pretty much ready to ship out Anthony Davis. There's going to be a lot of rumors and news going around about trade reports, where he's going to go, who are we entertaining? But we couldn't do that, or we can't do that, if Anthony Davis messes up his Achilles. We already have one star in Kyrie Irving who has a torn ACL. He got surgery. He's recovering. We don't know when he'll return, maybe January, maybe February. But imagine if Anthony Davis tore his Achilles, all because he wanted to play against the Wizards, a team that we beat without him and we actually lost with him. That it is absolutely insane that the levels that Nico Harrison and the people around him were going to go to potentially sabotage everything that we had going for us. And again, Nico's gone, so there's really no point in complaining. We're trying to right the ship, but things were a lot worse than what we thought. We knew that Nico Harrison was doing something like this last season, but we saw over the summer that he got rid of pretty much everybody on the staff and actually hired people that were qualified. But even at that point, Nico Harrison was still trying to impose his will on those people, trying to force Anthony Davis to come back, convince Anthony Davis that he's good to come back. And it took Patrick Dumont, not the head trainer, not anybody else. It took the owner, Patrick Dumont, to step down and say, no, you are not going to play. You are not healthy. We're not risking it. I've already seen you get hurt once. I've already seen you get hurt twice. You're not getting hurt a third time on my watch. But it does not stop there. As Patrick Dumont, he's not taking any chances. Take a look right here. Tim McMahon tweeted out that sources say that Mavericks governor Patrick Dumont has requested medical data indicating that Anthony Davis is not at risk of aggravating his left calf strain before giving a green light for the 10-time All-Star big man to return. Will miss 7th straight game tonight, and this was out yesterday before the Suns game. And that right there is the icing on the cake. It tells you everything you need to know about Patrick Dumont, that he is in charge. He is going to be a part of every little decision-making process. He saw what happened in February and the fallout from that trade and where we are now, and he does not want things to get worse. And then I'm not saying that Patrick Dumont is safe in the eyes of the fans. I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there, probably in the comment section will tell me, that they want him gone, and I totally understand. I'm right there with you. But that's a fight for another day. Right now, Patrick Dumont is not going to allow Anthony Davis to come back until he has clear data showing he is not at risk of tearing that Achilles, which means there is currently no timetable to return for Anthony Davis. It's already been 7 games. It could go up to 14 games. We could wait until the middle of December to see Anthony Davis come back. And like I said before, with all the reports about how the Mavericks may be shopping him, they may be ready to move on from Anthony Davis. Can't do that with a torn Achilles. You got to rehab his injury. You got to make sure he's good and healthy. If you do want to move him, if you want to try to find a trade suitor for him, may as well do that when he's healthy. And when he is healthy, he'll come back, build up that trade value, and you'll move on with your day. But the last thing that we got to take a look at right here, the Mavericks will work with Anthony Davis camp over the next two plus months as they decide whether to pursue an in-season trade. This is per Mark Stein, and it all just comes together. If we're going to try to work with Anthony Davis, whether or not we're going to trade him or not trade him, You got to make sure he's healthy, which means we have no timetable for Anthony Davis. He may miss every single game until he actually gets traded. We may not see Anthony Davis again in a Dallas Mavericks jersey, but there is a good chance that he does come back. That maybe this calf strain isn't that serious, and the next week he returns, and we can start to build up that trade value, or we decide to keep Anthony Davis. The Dallas Mavericks can go in many different directions, but if there's one thing that is for certain, Patrick Dumont is in the driver's seat, and he is making sure that nothing happens without his approval. But let me know in the comment section down below, how do you guys feel about Anthony Davis? Do you think he'll be all right? Do you think he'll come back, or do you think this is the last we've ever seen of him wearing a Dallas Mavericks jersey? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's what I got for you guys today. Thank you. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. And as always, y'all, take care. Drink water. Peace.